Davies in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amina Margot.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
Wow, it was 5 minutes and a half of madness. And welcome to Vic Akers Wonderland. I am your host once again, and I am joined by the magnificent Lottie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Like, the club's going to be the end of me, but hey, fans at home had a better time than I did. Well, I should say fans who watched the highlights had a better time than me and Adam did at the ground. Let's put it that way.
And Adam, how are you?
Yeah, I've got to echo Lottie's sentiments. They put us through the ringer, don't us, Arsenal? That's 2-4-3 since the start of the new year. But I wouldn't have it any other way. It wouldn't be easy. If it were easy, it would be Chelsea, but we're not, and it's a lot more fun that way.
So just go through the news then. The February Player of the Month award is up on the Arsenal website. Emily Fox, Alessia Russo, Frida Lenhardt-Mornham and Mariona Caldente is all on the shortlist for this one. There has been an official of time confirmed for the last game of the season at the Emirates on the 10th of May against Manchester United. That would be a 12:30 kickoff for that one. But we should also pass on our congratulations to Renee and Mariona for both winning Manager of the Month and Player of the Month. Although the Goal of the Month, unfortunately, went to Leicester's, I'm going to get it completely wrong, Leicester's submission, which was the goal against Aston Villa. So no triple threat this time for the Goal of the Month. We'll just quickly go on to a bit of mad 48 hours where we had Matt Beard leave Liverpool, Laura Kaminsky leave Crystal Palace to be replaced by Leif Schmerud. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I have not 100% on that one. He's a Norwegian manager, has done quite a lot with Norway in terms of internationally with men and women, so quite an interesting one there. But also Remy Allen has left Southampton. Southampton are on their course for their worst league performance in the championship since they came up the division. But Marianne Spacey Kale will be in charge until the end of the season. Another 5 games left of their season now. That's coming up quickly. Just another WSL news. Everton are looking at Goodison Park as an opportunity to become their new stadium should the opportunity arise. There is that opportunity at the moment, although there's the legacy project. It is a lot of detail, but just an opportunity for the girls to go to Goodison Park, potentially for everyone in the league. That would be one that I just wondered, both you, Adam, and Lottie, would you both be interested in going to Goodison Park?
I think it's a fantastic idea. Goodison Park has a lot of history, and it would be a shame if all that history was, say, lost and converted into flats, like another historical stadium in North London. But my opinion of Highbury, if the game was as big as now as it was in 2006, I'd have loved it if Highbury had become basically Meadow Park, if it had become the home of women's football, and then the men to retain the stadium. Sadly, the game, it wasn't at that level, and I can understand 100% why flats were used in that situation. I think it's a really smart move by Everton. You get to preserve that stadium. It's huge capacity, so we can get a decent away allocation, which is nice. We don't just get 50 people at Walton Hall Park. It's a proper stadium, stands, atmosphere, history, legacy, and it gives the team, Everton, who are a big team in women's football. They have heritage. They've won league titles, they've won FA Cups. They've played in Europe. They are a big team who should be further up the table than they are, and fingers crossed there. But if you can pitch yourself as Everton, saying if you want to play for Everton women, you get to play at Goodison Park every week. That's quite a good selling point. And hopefully that does come through. I think it's a really smart move for them, and it will obviously retain value as well. They'll own that. There'll be running costs, but if you get a decent crowd in there every game, you're laughing.
Lottie, would you be interested in coming up for an away game at Goodison Park?
Although I put this politely, I've been to Goodison Park, wore the t-shirt, and left, and gone back several times since. So it wouldn't be any difference to me, if I'm honest with you. It might give us a bigger away allocation, but at what point do you limit Arsenal fans going to an away game when they will overtake the home fans on a consistent basis? And I can't see Everton consistently filling up Goodison Park.
I think they could. I think they could. If the derby, the Merseyside derby.
That's the derby, though. But what if it's a Crystal Palace? What if it's a West Ham? Are you going to get those fans to turn up, or they're going to turn up for the Chelseas, the Arsenals, Man Cities, Liverpools?
The problem with Walton Hall Park is that because of how small it is, you don't really get a community feel around that. Whereas with Goodison, because of how it is, so for those that don't know, Everton Stadium is basically in the middle of a load of flats. It's in basically a huge community, and just across the water, you've got that really horrible spaceship of a stadium called Anfield. And
what, you mean the one where the stadium that would be empty if you closed all the ports and all the roads?
Yes, but that's beside the point. Essentially, there's a community there that if you can market it right and tap in like Everton do into the community, they can put bums on seats. The only problem with that is, as you said, Lottie, is about Man City. Sorry, not Man City. I've seen it when Man City came, and Man City fans have the drum, and they've been louder than the Everton fans. That's the problem. Everton do have a singing section at Walton Hall Park. It is tiny, but if they were able to grow and naturally grow, not like have the boom of a Euros or a World Cup afterwards, have that attendance, I think naturally it would work.
Fans get on board. That's the problem.
If let's say they back, they do get that boom from capacity. They've got I think Everton are in the right space to be able to grow if they were to go to Goodison Park.
I get that, but you've also got to take into the consideration the amount of money they budget on and the amount of money it takes to run just a single stand. If you're just going to use a single stand at the stadium, and are Everton willing to part with the money to do that?
With new ownership, yes, because we've seen it with Roma. We've seen it with Roma. This is the same ownership that Roma have at the moment, and they were willing to spend enough on Katrina Kuhl to do that. I would imagine that they would be willing to put apart as much money as they can to make sure that Everton not only are competitive, but they're not going to be in the same slump that we're seeing with Aston Villa, because Villa are putting money into their players, but they're not getting the return, shall we say.
Something's not right there. I can't put my finger on it.
With Everton, with new owners, you always get a big influx of money investment, because the owners have got the shiny new toy and they want to do loads of stuff really quickly. So you always get a big shove on the money side and a bigger investment. The question is whether they sustain that investment, because it will need to be sustained over the coming years, or will they get bored of the women's team because it's only a team like mid-table coming 10th, 9th, 8th every season, and get bored of it and then focus all on the men's team, like maybe some other clubs have done. I would hope they would persevere, as you say, Matt. They've got history with Roma, and investment going there, and I think in terms of growing the support, it all comes down to the product on the pitch. If they get Everton as a team being a really good, strong outfit that wins matches, winning matches will bring fans through the door. And also, if you can pitch the idea of if you like Goodison Park and want to see Goodison Park matches again, you can come and watch Everton play at Goodison Park. A bit like, and have it, put the academy games there, put the women's games there, make it like, the Meadow Park effectively. That's another great money spinner because people love retro. There's a reason why everyone loves wearing retro kits or, watching older films or playing retro video games. There is still that nostalgia that people will want to go to Goodison Park to watch a football match. So there is that spin as well. I think you could get a good crowd at Goodison. Arsenal, for example, with Emirates Stadium, when we first did it, but like the early years, it was only 1,000 in. It was nothing like it is now. It does take time, it takes effort, and it requires the Everton fan base, the Everton supporters club, and the club all working together to really push it. Arsenal's approach to the advertising was extremely aggressive. You think about those previous seasons where they put their stuff on the socials, they put the signs up, they put it, advertise stadiums and really push. You think about the Wolfsburg game and all the adverts they did to really hammer home getting that record attendance. It takes a lot of effort. You can't, half-arse it. And if Everton are really positive about this, and England do well at the Euros, and we get another Euro wave after what happened in Switzerland, 100% it could happen.
And the other thing is, there's a lot of Everton fans that come from different areas, that they come over from Ireland and things like that for the games. They do a double header. But we should probably concentrate on the league because this news broke quite late last week. Tom Gary announced that the WPLL were looking to different proposals, shall we say, to better the league. The main header was about the relegation. So just as Emma Saunders has put out there, it's essentially temporarily scrapping the relegation from the WPLL, but allow one spot promotion, meaning essentially you get 2 extra games each season until the expansion of the teams to 16. Let's just say, I think all categorically it's not a positive way. Just from my point of view, I do hate it when you have an odd number of teams in a league. We're seeing it in the Championship. It means one team's coming off, so it means that potentially come the end of the season, at the moment it's Birmingham City and London City Lionesses, they could have played all their games. They don't know if they're going to win the league because they're not playing the last game of the season, and it's a horrible thing to have to sit and wait, especially if you're in the relegation spot and you don't know what's going to happen because you played all your games as well. So it works both ways. But I think both of you made your opinions very, very loud, shall we say, or you can make them as loud as you want now, Lottie.
Are you trying to tell me that I'm loud, or
No.
the fact that this potential scrapping of the English pyramid is a very bad idea? I don't think the American model will work. Looking at what has been leaked, is they're looking to keep this in for 4 years, and then they're going to potentially vote to bring it back. So that, to me, that sounds like they don't have any inkling of bringing the relegation back. I mean, there's other stuff in articles online. They're talking to all the current Premier League clubs who have their women's team, that still own their women's teams, about just bringing them straight up from their tier. And teams like Bournemouth, who they're below the Championship, it kind of removes the incentive to invest in your teams. If you look at teams like I don't know off the top of my head, #United, they're doing very well at the moment. Where's the incentive for them as they are as an independent club to come up in the pyramid? If you're going to take that away, there's also clubs in this current table for the WSL who do the bare minimum to stay up, and everyone knows my thoughts on West Ham, although they did give us a game which we will get to later. So yeah, they do the bare minimum to stay up. And if you look across the spending budgets as well, I think it's Man United who have the 4th lowest spend budget, and then you look at some of the other teams that are on a sort of similar sort of spending budget, you would say Man United are over exceeding. And you look at, say, like the likes of Arsenal, some people say, we're underperforming for the amount of money we've spent. So it's a lot to consider, and I think for me personally, after the stunt of the European Super League thing with the men's, I don't think we can trust the clubs to make this decision at all. There, for me, at least when we had the FA, there was accountability. And there was like official documentation. You could see that they could release to the public. So at the moment, if you look at the board, there's no experience on that board of women's football that's been at the forefront for the last 5 years. I know there's one person on that board that worked for a year at Chelsea. That's not enough. It's simply not enough. And it just worries me. If you're gonna, how do I put it? If you want to invest in all this, I say bring 2 up, put 1 down for a couple of years, and then see how it goes. I just don't think the American model is going to work. There's so many things to think about, and I think who is it? Matt. Who was the Southampton player that went to Tottenham?
Ella Morris.
If you use her as a prime example, she came up through the Southampton academy, right?
Yes.
She's played there since whenever. Now she signed for Tottenham last summer. You look at her and okay, she didn't start off on the Arsenal academy. She didn't do the Chelsea, wherever. She started from Southampton in the Championship. If we cut that sort of, if we go into this American model, how does that encourage other women in the lower tiers to have a career pathway to get to the top flight football? It's just so many things. It's just, I don't want it. And it's not because I don't want change or that. I just don't think it's going to work. And I don't think we'll ever get relegation back if we go down this path. I know they've got to vote in, I think, a couple of months it is. But it's not, it could be sooner, actually. I'm not too sure. But I don't think it's an option for me. I really don't.
Yes, so I did have it here. Several of the WSL clubs at the bottom are in favour to help them compete. If basically stop relegation, you help yourselves, save yourselves, and then it helps you compete further down the line. To be honest, I think West Ham are one of those teams that would be in favour of this. Sorry, Adam, go on, your opinion.
Yeah, so what we should say is, because okay, full disclosure, I don't want relegation to go. So I just want to get that on the table now before I go down this rabbit hole and people start making assumptions.
Yeah,
so
I'm kind of
no relegation.
So go for it.
However, so historically, we should get the facts out of the way. The WSL was born with no relegation. So for the first 2 seasons, there was no relegation. It was a closed league. Arsenal won the league 2 seasons in a row. It was rubbish, okay? It was 8 teams. It was a closed league. No one did, because Arsenal just won the league and nothing else happened. I think 2 teams were going to Europe. So relegation actually officially kicked in 2014, although Donny Bell's got relegated to the season pool, but that's a financial thing. We won't go there. However, they suspended relegation in 2017, 2018, one because of Spring Series, and the other was to bring numbers into the league. So this is a tactic, this is a method. It has been used before and it has worked because it allowed them to expand the league. It allowed them to bring the likes of Brighton and the likes of West Ham United into the WSL by cutting off the relegation and allowing teams to promote up. However, the flip side to that is it failed because something did get relegated because their license group, they didn't get their license for the next season, financial reasons, and you end up with an odd number of teams, which, as Matt says, is absolutely rubbish because then you have one team that doesn't play every weekend, and no one wants that. So again, and that's why the season after that, you then had Spurs come up as well as Manchester United. On those teams that came up, though, West Ham United were given the buy into the WSL. They didn't come up through the ladder. They were given a shortcut to go. Brighton actually finished second in what was the Championship, then WSL 2, because the team that came first was actually Donny Bell's, and they actually got relegated despite finishing top of their league. It's a nonsense because of, again, and tiers and for a season, you have 2 teams promote up from the Championship, boost your numbers up immediately, turn the relegation back on the next season. You've got 2 teams, you've got a bigger league, and away you go. I don't mind that. If the plan is we're going to stop relegation for 1 season or 2 seasons, just 2 seasons, just to get 4 more teams in, you sustain that even number of teams so the matches all line up, and then you turn the relegation back on again, That's fine if that is the plan. But the problem is if you dangle in front of the clubs who don't care, and you dangle the suggestion of we can stop relegation, of course they're going to go all in and they're going to try and really push, say, no, don't turn that tap back on again, just lock it off forever, which for me would be wrong. So that's why I'm looking at this carefully. I don't think the suspension of relegation should be treated as a full no if it is used in the correct method, as it was used before. But if it is used, as you say, as a way of just, close league, etc., then I think it's terrible. The problem then is, because the midsection of the league is so uncompetitive because there's no motivation. Because if you're not in the top three and you're not in the relegation zone, there's nothing. Add incentives to the mid-table of the league. It just means that the teams higher up that are not investing have a safety net, like the 5th Champions League spot for the men. So no matter how many times you cobble and twist and try and change the league, you actually make it worse. And that's the problem you've got with the WPLL and their amendments to the league at the moment.
Sorry, I'm going to butt in. I just got a question for you. So do you think obviously the Europa's coming in. Do you think that's going to spice it up a bit for those mid-table teams to fight for Europe?
I don't think the Europa is an additional European spot. It just gives you actually an internal safety net within the three. So if you let's say lose on penalties to Paris FC, rather than you losing Europe altogether, you just go into the Europa League. So if it was an extra European spot,
if they expanded it, right?
Yeah.
And then they gave us 2 extra spots. Matt, feel free to jump in.
Yeah.
Obviously, the top. Let's put. I don't like saying this, but Man United, Arsenal, City, Chelsea, they're the top dogs, top 4. Having that 5th spot, for example, do you think that would heat up the table? Because come this time of the season, your Evertons and your mid-table teams don't have anything to fight for because usually they're out the cups.
Yeah, I would like that. I would like something in the middle that would encourage the likes of Spurs but at the same time though is you're encouraging them to invest to get to 5th. Which I suppose is sort of fine, but also it feels a bit like you're not pushing even further. It depends. I also say on the money side, because this is the other thing is the and this is actually one point I want to get to is one of the excuses, and I hate these excuses. There was ones from the higher up saying, "Oh, if our position in the WSL is secure, we can invest in facilities and our academies, and our younger players are better off." And I'm thinking, how dare you? How dare you use that as an excuse to justify basically this ruining the footballing pyramid and saying, yes, but we'll make things better for our players and our youth academies. No, you do that anyway. If you're saying that you don't do that because you're worried of getting relegated, boy, have you got your priorities the wrong way around. That is absolutely outrageous. And I was flabbergasted to read that. And the other one was about, and this one I actually do have a bit of sympathy with, and that is that the teams that come up are worried because a lot of teams just go up and go back down again, like Crystal Palace probably will this season, Bristol City did last season. Teams yo-yo, there's no security there. And so clubs want a security to invest in the team to make them and establish themselves in the league. And I think the problem is you need, because there is such a disparity between the WSL and the Championship, it's very difficult, unless you're London City and Lionesses and you've got a huge backing in, you've already got a WSL team built in the lower league to be ready-made for the WSL, you are going to go straight back down again. So I understand the idea of a team coming up wanting a few years to get themselves WSL ready so they can actually compete rather than just go straight back down again. So that I do have a bit of sympathy with. But I don't like it when people are clubs, or some clubs who we could probably guess names on, who are trying to sort of sweet talk us by saying, look at all the good things we will do for our club if you give us this relegation. And I compared it online saying, it's like trying to convince your parents that, yes, if you buy me the Xbox, I will do my chores, I will go to bed on time, and I will tidy my room every day for the next year. I promise I will. But you've got to buy me the Xbox first, and I will. And it's like, we don't believe you. I don't believe that for 1 second.
No, these clubs, it's just made me think, like, you look at the current clubs, you look at Arsenal, the club looks after both teams.
Yeah, one club mentality.
You've got a club like Bristol City. I don't mean to be disrespectful in any form, shape or form. What if you've got a club like them that does not have the money to invest?
That has been one of the problems, is that essentially you need 2 million to invest in your infrastructure to begin with before you even start the WSL season.
I think we've had chats with Shahan about the owners previously, and he's not willing to invest in the club as a whole. So how do teams like Bristol, like although they're yo-yoing, how do they keep up with the likes of us?
It goes a bit further than that, because the truth is there is no money in the game, and if you're trying to make money in the game, you're not going to succeed. There is. But I said this to a friend. But the Premier League is drowning in money. There is money coming out of ears, out of every single go, and every club in the Premier League is losing money. There is no profit to be made in football. In fact, if you're making profit, it means you're not investing in the team and you're pocketing the money for yourself. So your team is actually suffering.
And that is why Tottenham Hotspur is the best run business in the Premier League.
Mike Ashley, Newcastle, Daniel Levy. That's Daniel. They'll make the money, and then the team suffers. So you, as a club, you have to accept that it's like owning a car. You don't make money on a car. The moment you've bought the car, you've already lost money, because they only get, well, it's a football club. So if you're thinking, oh, it must make money, no, it doesn't make money. That's the point. If you try and make it into a profitable business, you're just going to try and get more money into the game. The game needs money. But then the more you put into it, the more the costs go up. Money came into the Premier League. What happened? Player costs went up. So then you need more money. So then the wages go up, and then the fans had to pay more money. So it doesn't equal out. So the problem is if you want to bring more money in, it's inflation. So it's pointless. So I understand. I like the idea that the WPLL want to make change, and change is good, and we need change, because the league can't remain the same for time infinity, because it will just plateau. Although I do think relegation, this lack of relegation, have the same effect. So I appreciate the proactivity and positive. Yes, we want to change things, but you've got to change the right things, and you've got to make the right choices, and you've got to make sure you make your choice for the benefit of the players and the fans, not for the benefit of the owners. If it's trying to be, because you take off relegation, then the owners can go, great, we've got a nice car that's just going to sit there and it's not going to get taken away from us because we're not going to relegate it. The owners are not the priority here. The priority of the fans, the priority of the players, and I don't think fans or players want relegation. Want no relegation. Fans and players want to have relegation because it makes the league better. It makes it competitive, because then there is that. It's the old thing with the donkey and the stick and the carrot, isn't it? You have the carrot of winning the league, you have the stick of relegation. If you take the stick away, then there's no threat. It's just go, well, just sit here. They're just happy to sit here, and there'd be no. I hope that when this vote actually has come through, there is some logic to it. But then again, as you say, Lottie, after the Super League debacle, it's very difficult to trust some of these clubs and what the true motivations are.
Exactly. I don't trust any of them. There's again, as I said earlier, there's no accountability, full stop. You don't have accountability, they can do what the hell they like.
If they want to cancel relegation, if suspend it for a few seasons, which is fine, then there has to be written in cast iron that it's not, we will vote when the relegation comes back on. No. You state on the day, in 2 years' time, or wherever it is, it comes back on, and that is guaranteed. And it's not, oh, well, we need to change it. No, you put it back on there.
You need to stick to your guns once you've written it down.
Yeah. So many historical agreements used to be, in 99 years' time, or sometime in the future. That means nothing.
That means nothing or never.
Yeah. So that's,
The other problem is that you look around at the other teams' leagues, shall I say, across Europe. I just had a look at the Italian league. They've only got 10. You look at both the Frauen Bundesliga and Premier Division 1 in France, they've got 12 teams in their league. It's suddenly, if let's say that expansion goes to 12 or from 12 to 14 or 14 to 16, shall we say, then there has to be a balance with the other leagues as well, because it affects the whole European structure. If you don't want to have, say, all of a sudden you've got 16 teams and then there's more than 3 spots available for Champions League in England, but there's not enough for everyone else on the table to get their fair share. Because if I'm being honest, I don't want to see a situation where we're going to see in the men's game where there's potentially five teams in the Champions League. I'd rather see a maximum of 3, maybe 4, but enough for it to be
The Champions League is too small. The Champions League is too small to have 4 English teams at its stage. You'd have to increase the roster of the Champions League to accommodate more English teams, French teams, Spanish teams. At the moment, it's a closed group. The qualifiers are overflowing because the main tournament is too small. I do want to add though on the topic of promotion for Championship, what I would like is if we doubled the promotion, is if we kept that. And I would love, and I've said it many times before, a relegation promotion playoff for the second place team and the second lowest team in the WSL to add a bit of extra jeopardy with that.
So
I think
2 up, 2 down.
we could even have a pure 2 up, 2 down, have a playoff in the middle, or even top team gets promoted, and then second, third, fourth, fifth playoffs.
This is
like
all
you do in the Championship.
things that
Because
they
you look-
are considering doing
You
already.
look at the Championship as it's been this season, first to fifth, there's only 1 or 2 points in it. It's incredibly close. And I think you could have a second to fifth playoff system and then do what they do with the League Cup, stick a final, stick it at Wembley, but I think they'd probably stick it at a roaming stadium like we do with the League
I
Cup.
was thinking about this. I think you've got, because there's so many stadiums in the Midlands. We already have like the League Cup. It's been at Molineux in the past, Derby this year. It's in the past. It's gone to the county ground, Nottingham Forest ground.
I stick it in a WSL ground, like put it in the King Power, because if you win, you go into it'd be like a great way because you're going into a WSL. So you could maybe put it at the LSV, maybe put it at St Helens. I could think
wouldn't do the SV. It's too
Again,
it's
this
travel.
Again, I don't think they could do it, but again, people will get very, very upset if they think they're going to, say, the Emirates. Let's look back at the Bayern Munich fixture. If that incident happens again
put them in Meadow Park
at a final, can you imagine the reaction from fans? Not just the home or away, but the neutral fans that go.
Yeah,
this is where I think Villa Park had that opportunity with the men's, didn't it? So many years, the semi-finals were at Villa Park. Villa Park, I think, is one of those grounds that you just look at and go, I'd love to sit and watch my team play on that.
I like them.
You say no.
I enjoyed my
Absolutely
trip
not.
to Villa
I
Park.
hate Villa Park. It's horrid. No, thank you.
I loved it. We could spend the whole podcast just riffing on former stadiums.
Yeah,
we'd love to have a cup final in, but there are unfortunately more things we need to.
And then I can list off where I've been, and I can put my recommendations down.
That's another podcast. That's another podcast.
Maybe we should do that over the summer at some point.
Exactly. That's
Actually, that could be fun.
Podcast.
Let's go on to what happened around the grounds then. So United beat Leicester 2-0. Melvin Mallard and Leah Galton scoring the goals.
Leah Galty? Who's Leah Galty?
Leah Galton. So, I'm hoping that my voice is coming through properly. Hello.
I couldn't help myself.
Galty. Oh my God.
Leah on the brain, Matt.
Maybe. Liverpool won 1-0 against Crystal Palace. Jenny Matthews with the only goal of the game. Villa staring relegation in the face at the moment with a 2-0 loss to Everton. Marilyn Mauger and Honka Hayashi scoring in that one. Tottenham were close to an upset, well, as close to an upset as you can get, with Beth England scoring for them. And Man City got 2 back. Viv Miedema and Firmino scoring in that one. Chelsea somehow, by contrast, managed to get a draw against Brighton.
You mean an offside draw?
Yes. Sorry. Yes. I think referee might be referee's going to be one of the things that was going to be talked about, because Viv felt that one of her goals should have been ruled, so it would have been City 3 over Tottenham 1 in that game. But Baltimore and James scored for Chelsea, and Vicky Losada and Osli, I'm going to get this terribly wrong. I do apologise in advance. Osli scored the second for Brighton. Oslagers. There we go. Knew I was going to get the pronunciation wrong.
And it's Maron Nielda, Matt, just for reference.
I did say Marilyn Melder. I think your signal's
children,
going wrong.
Stop bickering. Keep going.
Anyway, so that was how the games went. It did make it very interesting. It just meant that Arsenal needed a win against West Ham. Although they didn't make it easy for themselves, because in the 6th minute, Tiziak scores a header from the corner.
I've got a funny story to go with this one. I don't know if Adam heard, but Vivian Asai's come up to take the corner. There's a wonderful Arsenal fan. He's clearly never been to Meadow Park before. Screaming at her, "Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?" She puts the ball in. Anna Tiziak heads it in. And the whole stands are laughing at him. And even Vivian Asai, she's pointing at him, laughing at him as she ran off to go and celebrate. I mean, like, I'm all for it, but we're a bit more respectful than the men's game, aren't we?
I don't know. I
I'm
think
talking about the whole
situation.
of the West Stand and my side of the North Bank. We all sat there and laughed at him. And then
And
she
rightly
came back
so.
for the
It's-
second one. We were telling him to keep his mouth shut. His girlfriend was so embarrassed. I think it was his girlfriend. I'm not sure. She was so
It reminded
embarrassed.
it reminded people were mocking Rachel Daly about her golden boot, and then she scored from the corner on the last day of the season, and that's good. I love that. I love it. If you give it and then you give it back, that's absolutely fine as far as I'm concerned, providing it's all completely, up above board and it doesn't cross the line. That sort of banter between the fans and the players, that's exactly what you want in a game, and I love it.
Yeah, I do think the highlight of it is that as it went in, he sunk down behind the advertising board, and he hid.
And rightly so.
So
Rightly
that was actually quite funny. But
Mm.
yeah, West Ham, they're that bogey team now, aren't they? Really?
They are becoming a bit of a bogey team. Although should be said they've only ever beaten us once. That was last season, but that was the only time they've actually beaten us. But they do.
But they put us
do
through the
give us
ringer
a
every
good game.
time since. I hate playing West Ham.
That was a header from a corner, and only a few minutes in, and that was a bit of a I didn't expect that, but it was a good header. We should say well executed corner, well executed header, beat the marker. Go fair enough, great set piece, but not the end of the world by any means. That's not was it 6 minutes or so on the clock? Was it? Plenty of
7
time.
minutes.
12.
7 minutes. Yeah, there's 7 minutes on the clock. No matter, we can come back from this. This is not a problem at all. Or so I thought.
Well, it didn't get much better, did it? 11 minutes on the clock. This one was the controversial one because of what Saiz did. Basically, Walty was marking Tiziak on the corner. Between Walty, Saiz, and Tiziak, Saiz goes and trips Walty when Tiziak goes to make a move, leaving Tiziak free to bundle the ball in from the corner. Bit unusual because the ball's gone through Emily Fox's legs. It's very unusual for that to happen. But I'd have to say, unfortunately, the ball did go in, but it was a hell of a clearance from Alessia Russo.
Yeah, it was a good effort from Russo. I think another defender smashed it into the net anyway. Right, few things about this. Firstly, okay, there's a foul. Velty hits the deck in the box. She's tripped over. So something has clearly happened. Officials have not seen it. Okay, that happens, okay? It's annoying. It sucks. It happens. But you have to play to the whistle. You have to play to the whistle. And I just think the Arsenal defence just completely switched off because it was so outraged by the foul, and I think it was a foul. They don't deal with the situation properly, and Emily Fox, it goes through her legs on the line. You're on the line, you have to block that at close range, and we'll get to maybe a clearance that did successfully happen later on in the game on the line. That's poor on Fox's behalf. What did stand out for me is because I'm stood in the east stand behind the dugout is the bench were furious. They were furious. So Dan Tino, who is the assistant coach to Rene Slayers, he's been assistant for Jonas and also for Joe Montemuro. He was racing down the pitch, screaming at the linesman, wanting to know why a foul was given. Katie McKay came over to the bench, and there were heated discussions happening then about what happened. Players obviously felt that their player had been tripped in the box, and I think they got a point. And the coach, the staff were rightly annoyed by the situation, but the result is not playing to the whistle. Basically, I think the whole team basically froze, and Arsenal 2 goals down after 12 minutes at home to West Ham United, which should not be happening. I think there are other reasons around which we may get to, but the cold truth was after just over 10 minutes in, we've got a 2-goal deficit, and suddenly we've got a mountain to climb. And at that point, thinking, okay, but there's still plenty of time, but we've got to get a goal back soon. We've got to get something in this game. If it goes to 2-0 at half time, then we're in major trouble.
Just before the goal, there was opportunities though. The one that sticks out for me is Mariona clipping the outside the post
Yeah,
from
2-0.
out
Yeah,
range.
that was there was that, and there was a Russo 1v1, and you're just seeing these chances fly by. I mean, the Russo one, I think there was a nudge on her back, but I'm watching her race through and thinking, right, come on, Rich, this is it. This is what you're in for, and then she sort of just fluffed it, unfortunately. And then the Mariona one, I knew it was close because I actually saw, well, from my angle, I saw the shadow of the ball on the post and it actually clipped the outside. What was notable, we were getting good chances, but we looked so open at the back. I mean, the likes of Asai and Martinez were really good in this game. Their front two really, really exploited us. They looked really threatening. We should say those two goals they did score from the corners. Arsenal could have been 2-0 down before the corners themselves because the chances, there was some really good last-ditch defending. I think Katie McCabe hooked one off the line, had to concede a corner. There was one, I think, Kim Little slid in to make a block and the keeper tipped it behind. West Ham deserved to be 2-0 up. This was no fluke. They fully warranted that. Our defence, despite, I think, having our first choice defence, I think we could say the international break was not kind to us. There was a She Believes Cup. Catley and Fox have been away on 3 games on over in America. I think it may be sowed for some of these players, to that, and rightly so. And we're deservedly 2-0 up. And I'm looking at that clock, the scoreboard, which still is intermittent and still doesn't work properly, much like our defence on the day. And I'm just thinking we need something. And I can't go into the break 2-0 down because then I really, really worry for us.
And it wasn't a ball. I don't like the word ball recycled because it feels like the ball's actually been put in the recycling bin. But that's enough on weird analogies. But the ball basically has been replayed out, and it was. I kind of had to question about who it was being crossed, so I had to double check with the commentary boxes. It was actually Mariona with the cross, and it's a really weird one because not weird in the sense that it was well attacked by Chloe Kelly. It's the fact the ball has bounced. And because the ball has bounced, usually that's an indication that the goalkeeper should come out. So Schmedic should come out and claim it. She doesn't claim it. Kelly's got an open free hit goal. She absolutely slashes it home for her first goal back in an Arsenal shirt. I think everyone enjoyed that. Lottie?
I certainly definitely did. I wish I put a bet on it. I'm really annoyed. I got the correct scoreline. Exactly where Chloe Kelly was going to score. And I said it was going to be in the first half. So I am fuming at this point. But I'm also really, really, really happy for her. She's back on the score sheet. She's back on up doing what she loves. And I think if we can get more of her between now and the end of the season, I think we'll definitely give Man United a run for their money for that second spot. Although they've got all their hard fixtures coming, so I'm not holding my breath for them.
Just before you go on, Adam, because I know you're going to talk about this in a bit more depth. Kelly is very much a moments player, and she makes those moments count, doesn't she?
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about this after Derby. She had that moment right at the end of the game, and it hit the bar. We said, no, her moment will come. She'll get her moment in the team when it will click, and this was it. And I love this goal because it caught me by surprise. And I love moments like that when it's the cross that comes from Mariona, and it looked like an overhit, and then Kelly out of nowhere is there and just smashes it on the volley past the keeper. And it was great because the keeper, we say for the first half, had quite a good game. A lot of saves. Admittedly, most of the shots were at her, but I just love this was very much sort of break the deepening wall of Helm's Deep sort of finish. It's just full power, close range, nothing the keeper can do. It's in the back of the net. And if you look at the replay, what actually happens is the defence falls asleep. The defence falls asleep at the back stick. Chloe Kelly makes a really, really intelligent run out and in, round the defender. Defender doesn't know she's there. She's made the dart. She's anticipated that the cross is going to miss the likes of Frida and Russo in the box, and she connects with it beautifully. And it's her first goal back at Arsenal, her first goal for Arsenal since an away trip to Bristol City when we won 5-0. There was an interesting extra bit. I will save it for later on when we talk about second half, because I realised that, well, I spoke to Lottie afterwards, I may have put the jinx on it, but at 2-1, I was thinking, right, okay, we've got the foothold. We have got our position in the game. It's not all lost. It's only a goal behind. And I think with the firepower we've got on the pitch and on the bench, second half, we can get ourselves back in, get ourselves level. It did all seem lost. It certainly gave me a bit of hope, because when you're missing chances and good chances, and it's still 2-0, it's just off the international break, the players aren't 100%, and West Ham always looking a threat at the county, just thinking all those nightmare results, because it was one of those, this can't be real. You were watching a film match thinking, this can't be real. We can't be losing 2-0 at home to West Ham United. Something's gone wrong here. But I never felt in that first half that we were out of it. I never felt that we're not going to win. And there were times last season under Jonas and the start of this season, I was watching a game and thinking, we're not going to win. We're not going to win. We're not going to score. We're not going to get anything. I never felt that in that first half. I never felt the game's gone. Always felt we were in it, and that goal just for half time just sort of reassured that, that's fine. We are still in this.
Was there a worry at half time? I'm going back to when it was 2-0. It was really weird because it was very eerily silent. And usually when you hear Meadow Park and it's a game like this, it is very, very lively. Like throughout the 90 minutes, you can at least hear some set of fans singing, whether it's in the North Bank or the East, wherever. You can usually hear fans singing. So it was so weird to hear that. It was so almost
I can
silence.
sympathise. Yeah, I can sympathise a bit, but I think it was said to me, it works both ways. Sometimes there are games where you've got to give a bit of voice and noise and energy to the players. Sometimes the players have got to give the crowd some energy of their own. It works both ways. And I think this was a game, I think Arsenal was quite loud for kickoff, but as the game wore on, I'm pretty sure they were confident they were chanting, but it was like they needed the players to give something back to the fans. And I think Chloe Kelly's goal did that. And I think there was a cheer, a very loud cheer after that, because it was a goal back in the game, but also because it was Chloe Kelly. And
what was the chant they were singing? Because I was trying to work out the
chant.
No,
we can't say it on this pod, Matt. I'll tell you in the group chat later. I can't tell you.
Talk about?
It's the old Hafe, it's the old Hafe Sousa chant. It's Chloe Kelly, she plays in red and white because she's left a certain Manchester City club, but it is not for
right, okay.
Right, not friendly.
That was the words that was that was confusing me. But yes, so half-time, Lottie, thoughts?
Yeah, no, Adam couldn't be any more spot on. Like, we needed, from sitting in the North Bank, well, at the other end from where Adam's closest to, sitting, I should say standing, what am I talking about? We needed something back, and as much as we give and give and give and give, going 2-0 down in 12 minutes, it kind of deflates you. Like, it's just, okay, like, there's plenty of time, but what do we do now? And having that goal, it livened things up a bit, but it was very slow. But yeah, 2-1 in, still fully believing, we're going to do this. So it's just a case of which one of the girls were going to pull up their socks and say, right, game on.
And unfortunately, 50 minutes, Martinez, right foot shot from the centre of the box and into the bottom left corner, making it 3-1. Not the start you really want within the first 5 minutes, to go from 2-1 to 3-1. West Ham must have thought, I don't know what West Ham seem to do, but they always seem to do this. They seem to have an extra leg against Arsenal, but it's no one else in the league.
It's self-inflicted as well. It's Russo missing the pass, playing out. It's well intercepted, and they just run at the defence, and we just don't challenge, and we just run at us, and we just back off. And Steph Catley gets done. She gets done by a chop. Really poor from Steph Catley. I've heard since that she was ill during the international break. I think we saw that today. I don't think she was fully fit. I think if Lottie had been fit, because she's that injured at the moment, she would have started. Should also say, like, Adina didn't even make the team, which makes it a lot. I'm surprised. But Renee went with Steph. I think in this situation, it was a mistake. I think she should have started with like Adina alongside Leah Williamson. But I know Renee wants a left footer at left centre back, and I get that. It really opens up the play, and it's really beneficial. But our left centre back, Steph Catley, was compromised with since she was ill and been on. I think she'd been jet lagged as well with the football. It showed, because she was way too easily beaten. Good play for Martinez. I said she had a great game, deserved the goal. And 3-1 down, and thinking that was probably hurt me more than the two early goals. just because I thought we went in I thought we were coming into second half, all the momentum, and I just felt that had been taken from us. And because I'm a history nut, and I'm just thinking of all the historical football matches, I'm just thinking, right, what other games has this happened? What other games can I think of where Arsenal could, if another team has come back from this before, Arsenal can do it. And the one that came to mind was the men's Liverpool Borussia Dortmund Europa League game, when they went 3-1 down at home to Bamford in the second half. And obviously what happened. We all know with, Dejan Lovren at the end. So I'm thinking, right, Arsenal, you've got to do something similar. But really goal from West Ham, but just really poor defensively from us. In fact, we were poor defensively all game. And it was a really chaotic game. I know that Rene likes an element of control. That's why we had Volti and Little in the midfield. It's a calm, controlling midfield, and we just got played through. It's the worst I've seen the pair of them play together in the midfield. I thought we just looked wide open. And I think I won't steal Matt's fun there, but something happened which changed the game completely.
Yes. So just before the thing happened, Caitlin Ford was pulled on along with Kyra Cooney-Cross.
That was the thing I was thinking of.
Leah Valti and Kim Little came off. So
yes.
Again, I don't know what it was, but it seemed to be on this. It seemed to be like two attacking midfielders that came across on my app. I don't know how the formation was, but I think it was the usual 4-2-3-1. But I don't know. Anyway, 55 minutes on the clock.
It was Matt. I'll just say it was Mariona and Kyra was the pivot, with Ford on the left. Ford and Kelly on the wings. Ford on the left, Kelly on the right, and then Russo in the 10 behind Stina, because Stina came on at half-time as well. So you were right. You basically was a really attacking double pivot, but Kyra would operate as a more deeper player and Mariona would push forward. So you basically became a 4-1-4-1. But you're right, it was really attacking because Little and Valti are quite deep usually. And Rennie decided to chuck them out the window.
When you're 2 goals down, you need to do something done. So
absolutely.
Anyway, it worked. 55 minutes on the clock. Katie McCabe's left foot shot from a very tight angle finds I would say it rifled the net. This is one thing I think we really see and enjoy about Katie McCabe. She randomly will have these shots from really weird angles and they'll go in. And the last time I remember her doing that was against Aston Villa at the Emirates. And that was a game. And that was the game that brought back in. And then Beth Mead sets up Alessia Russo to get the winner. So again, moments matter. Katie McCabe pulling her socks up, scoring an important goal for Arsenal once again.
I was flabbergasted how quickly. I don't think I've seen a substitution impact a game that quickly since Nicholas Bentner came on for the North London derby. I've looked at the clock. The subs were made in the 55th minute, and this goal happened 60 or less than 60 seconds later. It's in the next minute. It's ridiculous how quick acting it was. And to be fair, it needed to happen because, as you say, Matt, there's no point playing a defensive setup if you're 3-1 down. If you've got nothing to defend, there's no point playing defensively. And I said this was a chaotic game, and I think Randy thought, right, let's embrace the chaos. Let's just fight fire with fire. The game is going bonkers. My team needs to go bonkers, and just went all out. Move Mariona centre. I thought Ford onto the wing was a really smart move because she reared up that left flank. I thought we were really struggling to make any sort of inroads on that left. I think Mariona was better in this game in the midfield rather than out on the flank. The goal is brilliant, but I'd also say the keeper is really suspect here. The keeper, you do not get beaten there. It's actually got an element of Van Persie versus Barcelona 2011, for those of you who remember that magical night at Emirates Stadium. Just full power near post. When I was watching it from the East End, I thought she'd overtouched it. I thought she'd overcompensated, touched it, was going to roll out, and I thought, miscontrol. But she hits it across, and I'm going to be fair to her, I think that's intentional. I don't think that is a cross. I think she has spotted the keeper, has got her positioning all wrong. I mean, goalkeepers union, Matt, you'll probably know more, but you do not get beat in that position.
Yeah, I think because of how bizarre it was, I think it's a bit of a surprise that she's seen it. She actually does put her hand up and apologizes on the highlights back.
Yeah,
so it is a bit of a surprise, but I'm sure Lottie, you were going a bit ballistic because you were right in front of it. that.
Yeah, I was thinking you were going to come to me first because it's kind of been like all Adam at the moment. Yeah, no, Kate. He got to the point where it was 3-1, and you can see Leah and you can see Katie arguing amongst each other, and it's kind of a fine, I'll do it myself moment because we weren't getting anywhere. And sorry, my phone just gone off. Sorry. And just the tight angles and things like that. I mean, I've come across a lot of videos of fans who don't normally watch the Arsenal women's game. They're like, how has Katie done this? And like the women's fans are out in force. Katie only scores bangers. There is no such thing as a simple goal with Katie McCabe. I'm sure Adam will come up with a simple one that was recently, but there isn't one as far as I'm concerned.
No.
Oh,
Just do
miracles.
tap ins. It's all or nothing, Katie. Just top bins.
Yeah, the goalkeeping error was just absolutely bizarre, but it was also hilarious at the same time because I was on the right, because I was obviously on the side that she took the shot from. She kind of celebrated with the fans for a moment before any of the team got over. She was off again. Okay, we're going again, and we didn't know the 7 minutes of heaven were incoming, did we, Adam?
I think Adam's frozen. Oh, hello, Adam.
No, I should say that, but yeah. I when it got to 3-2, I was confident we will win at that point. Just because the quick response to substitution, and we should say, we'll do this. We'll do the next goal next, and then I'll say what I'm going to say. We'll do the next division, which I think came straight from the kickoff. I think we basically it was pretty much the next attack led to the corner.
Yes, the corner. This is where I'm a bit confused, so you can fill me in because I'm not too sure who took the corner. The commentary said Russo, but
No.
I thought it was.
I
thought so. Originally, I put down Kelly because I thought I saw the headband.
You did,
Kelly.
but then she swapped.
So
yeah.
Anyway, Leah Williamson scoring a header again. Leah Williamson headers and corners. Doing what she does best.
That's one in a few weeks.
It's what I love about this is it's a looping header, and so when it comes to a looping header, it's always difficult for the goalkeepers to judge it because they don't know whether it's going to go over them and onto the bar or over the net, or it just does that thing where it dips and it goes over and it goes in at the right moment. And if you can trust anyone to get it right on the day, it's Leah Williamson. Lottie.
No, absolutely. You just can't. You could. Put it this way: nothing was coming from up front, even with the changes. So again, I'll do it myself moment, and it was just at the right time. She was in the right time, right spot, at the right time, and it just went in, and then it was all of a sudden game on, and the turnaround within the stands was unbelievable. Actually, people finding their voices and encouraging them to carry on. It was a weird moment, but it was also quite enjoyable.
So I enjoyed this goal because when the corner's taken, I shouted, Leah Williamson's going to head this one in. And in the crowd, I was saying this, Leah header, come on, Leah header. And I saw it and it landed on Leah's head and flew in the net. And everyone's looking at me and said, how did you know that? I said, because I've been saying it at every corner since the season started. I knew it was going to, if you keep pressing red, eventually red will come up. I love this goal, and it was again so quick. It was 2 minutes after the Kelly McCabe goal, levels the game off completely. But what really stood out for me, and this goes up to the eventual winner, is I spoke about how Rennes sort of embraced the chaos. The game went insane from literally from the substitutions to the last goal. I've never seen that level of intensity in that West Ham penalty area of just the ball, the circulation. Everything was quick and 100 miles an hour. There were shots, there were blocks, there were crosses cleared, retained ball, get it back in. There was nobody was having a second touch and having a look and a thought. It was just 100-mile-an-hour stuff, like absolute pelters at the West Ham penalty. I didn't almost feel sorry for them because there was nothing they could do. it was like they'd gone 3-1 up, and then somebody just come along, grabbed the rug, and just yanked it from under their feet and chucked it over them, and just this shouldn't have happened. The game got to 3-1 West Ham United, and that should have been it. And yet, I don't blame West Ham for what happened, because I don't think anybody could have predicted or done anything about what happened to them. Just an insane period of football. I mean, and the crucial thing was, right, we've got to cash in, and I felt. There's the old cliche. You could feel the goal was coming. I mean, you could feel the goal was coming. It was the most obvious goal that was going to happen. The fourth goal. I mean, if Arsenal, there was no other way this period of pressure could end. The ball was going to go into the net. Something stupid or ridiculous happened otherwise. I mean, it turns out the way the goal went in was stupid and ridiculous, and near farcical in the end. But you just like, we're going to win. You just knew that what was going on. That West Ham, there's no team could shut out what Arsenal were offering that. I mean, it was insane.
It really was. So 60 minutes on the clock. Katie McKay playing at long ball towards Caitlin Ford, shall we say. It causes so much chaos. Smith, for whatever reason, decides to put her hands up and the ball's hit her hands. It's the this is the one thing I will give the referee credit for, because what the referee did was he waited till the ball was out, and so I think West Ham cleared it for a throw-in, and then the referee goes and gives the penalty. And it was really good refereeing. So with the penalty awarded, Mariona Caldente is currently the penalty taker. She just beats Maddox. She's beaten her to a left corner to make it 4-3. Lottie, just the whole situation, I think, being behind the goal, that's where
you know what? This is one decision they did get right. The referee. Sorry, I can't get it pronounced.
Being a bit boy Hodgson there.
Oh, shut up, you. The whole situation with that is something they actually got right. The ref that we had on Sunday, we've had him before, and I thought he was a load of rubbish, basically. Same with one of the linos, and the lino that was nearest Adam, he's usually rubbish anyway. But this decision they got absolutely right, and it penalty. But I think the part I did enjoy the most, it was the North Bank going shh, and all of a sudden this silence just rippled all the way through the ground. You could hear a pin drop. And then it's just the build up and the waiting, and it was unreal, you know.
It's kind of become the norm now, hasn't it? Because they did it for the Bayern game, didn't they? I mean, I wasn't there for the cup tie, the League Cup tie, so I can appreciate. But the Bayern Munich game, when we had that crucial penalty to get it to 3-2. There was a real hush. It's like in rugby when it says "be quiet" for the kicker when they're taking like a penalty or conversion. I really like it. I really love that it's become the only time when Meadow Park is silent is when someone's about to take a penalty, which I think is really, really cool. I mean, from my perspective, it was just as fast on the bench, because I think we all imagine that Renee Slagers is a very calm and controlled manager. She's very, very media trained, speaks very well, but Jonas was always very furious and energetic and passionate on the touchline, and that rubbed a few people wrong ways. But Renee's never like that. Renee's on the bench, just when that was up on the touchline, she was shouting at the ref, tapping her arms. How this game, I have never seen our coaching setup this hyped up, and I think part of that was due to the refereeing decisions or non-decisions and the way the game to and fro. But it just did make me giggle seeing Renee Slayers up, pleading with the officials, give us the penalty. That was a clear handball. Now, I should be honest, where I sat, I didn't realise how clear a handball that was, and I thought the referee wasn't going to give it because he had delayed it for so long. And and then I think I briefly turned away, and then I saw he pointed to the spot, and I was very relieved after that. And I'm also very relieved because the referee, the goalkeeper should save it. The goalkeeper should save that. They get there, they dive the right way, they get their hands on it. It just has enough power to sneak into that bottom corner. And on 60, there was there was 28 minutes left. This was the mad thing. We got to 4-3, and normally at 4-3, you get that goal in like the 80th minute. A bit like with the Bayern Munich game, you got to 3-2 in the 80th minute, and it's just a few minutes of game over. Yeah, for crikey, we what do we do now for 28 minutes? Do we go on? Do we get another goal? Do we sit deep? So because the other problem is we got the lead, but we had nobody on the bench that we could just lock the game out, because you couldn't bring Leovelti on to add it. Like when we played Manchester City away, I mean, we got that game, 4-3. We had Leovelti on for the last 20 minutes, which just brings that calm presence in the midfield. We didn't have that. We didn't have that because we'd taken her off. So suddenly it was like, well, we've got to run this chaotic, ultra-attacking front line to try and manage a game for the next 28 minutes. So it was. I would say that the following going for that was probably just as scary as the rest of the game, because suddenly it's like, well, hang on a minute, we've got the win, we could lose it. And I put a message out because I'm always looking at the past again. I mentioned about the Borussia Dortmund. So when they last scored a home goal, admittedly it was at the Hive, but a home goal for Arsenal was in a 4-4 draw when Arsenal had gone 3-1 down and got to 4-3 up, and then they conceded in the last 10 minutes to Liverpool. And I put that, and I'm thinking, and then I was watching again thinking, right, we're in the final 10 minutes now, the sucker punch is coming, and it very nearly did.
Well, it's really weird the way that I just mentioned. 5.5 minutes from the Katie McKay goal to Mariano Caldente. That is an insane amount of minutes to be. I think essentially that is 5 shots, 4 goals, essentially.
I think there was one clear off the line. I think it was blocked. There was a lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened in that condensed in that 6 minutes. And yeah, I don't think we've ever really had a moment like that. I can't think of one. Leicester City away, maybe, but there was crazy stuff happening in that game. But certainly not in Meadowbank Park.
I just want to ask you, based on what happened, would you be in favour of just over this weekend, would you be in favour of, I know there's just been discussion about the referees helping and things like that. Do we need goal line technology?
No.
Lottie's already looking like I don't know. Well, maybe, really. Obviously, the referees need to be full-time first.
It's damned if you do, damned if you don't face. Because there's certain situations that happened over this weekend, and we all know that is where we kind of need the goal line to, like, well, not really, actually. Ignore that thought. Never mind. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Let's just leave it there.
Yeah, I think if Leah Williamson's goal hadn't been given, because it was close, it bounced off the crossbar and nearly went in, and it did go in, but it was very close from the line. If the linesman had missed that, and to be honest, I was a bit sort of had the North Bank convinced the officials that had gone over the line by shouting very loudly. If that hadn't been given, we'd all be going, "Oh, goal line technology." You only want it when the decisions go against you. And I just think, again, we spoke about earlier in the pod about money. There are more important things to spend money on, and it's not goal line technology, and it is really expensive. And I don't think unless we're going to play all our games at the main stadiums that have it already. I mean, are you going to fit goal line technology at Park or Walton Hall Park or St Helens, Bescott Stadium, Brisbane Road? I don't see it that way. Speaking of goal line, we should just say, and I mentioned a second, but shout out Beth Mead for clearing the ball under her own crossbar in the 90th minute, because at that moment I thought that was it. When that
ball never went over. We're good.
It didn't go over, and that's one thing.
I know it never went over the line.
But that was watching that. I was waiting for the roar of the West Ham fans, because they were behind the goal, and that'll be the 4-4 draw. And to be fair, if I'm brutally honest, a 4-4 draw would not have been unfair on West Ham. I felt quite sorry for them, because I thought they were brilliant on the game, but on the day they're brilliant in the game. Got 3 good goals, and I said it's the last time a team came to Arsenal, scored 3 goals and lost. Was West Ham United. So it all comes at full circle for them. But no, I thought they were brilliant, and I thought they were very unlucky. Hit the post, hit the bar late on, almost had one over the line. Thank goodness for Beth Mead, and we got away. And another one of the games of the season.
So I think we'll close out then. So where can the lovely people see all the stuff that you do, Adam, including the archive?
Yeah, so there's a few things I'm working on. So you can find me on the socials at Adam on Blue Sky and Twitter and Instagram, and you can follow the Arsenal in Archive on YouTube and Blue Sky on Twitter, and follow that throughout the year. This will be the year of it sort of running, because at the end of the year everything will be up and then it'll just be there. So you can see that through to the end. And there's something I'm not planning to do anything further add on to it, because all the clips are up there now. In modern day YouTube, modern day social media, the games are up there, so we don't need them. You can also follow my writing on the halfway line, and also on Beyond the Pitch as well. There's got some stuff coming up, so do keep an eye out for that.
Lottie, where can the lovely people say hello to you?
Oh, you can find me at Lottie_AWFC on Instagram. Come home and have a look at my photos from match day.
You can also follow me on Substack.
I can vouch for that.
Substack at MattLR, and you can find me at Twitter on MattLR28. I know Adam was trying to vouch for your Instagram photos, Lottie.
Was he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. Yeah, you took a really good one. Hey.
You're only saying that because it's you.
Yes, I am.
You can also follow the pod on VAW at VAW Pods. That is all from us tonight. Thank you for joining us. And 5.5 minutes from 3-1 down to 4-3 up. Always remember, come on, you Gunners.